My wife has been peeking at me from around corners and behind furniture. It's gone from weird to terrifying. My wife Lynn and I have been together for 6 years, married for 11 months. Our history is completely normal. No red flags, no strange behavior. She's kind, intelligent, and the no-nonsense type. She doesn't even like horror movies. When we watched The Shining, she was so scared we had to turn it off halfway through. Pranks aren't her thing either. That's why this was so strange. 2 months ago, I was making coffee before work, running late. As I hurried down the hall, I caught Lynn peeking at me from around the corner. Just her eyes and a strand of hair. I nearly spilled my coffee. I said, "Geez, Lynn, you scared me." She popped out of view like a caught child and scurried off. I heard her laugh as I left. I called her a weirdo. 3 days later, at 2 a.m., I woke up for a drink. I was standing at the kitchen island when I felt watched. I looked down. Lynn was on the floor, peeking from behind the island, grinning like the Cheshire Cat, screamed, not from irritation, but fear. At the sound, she scuttled backwards on all fours, hands and feet smacking the tile as she crawled out of the kitchen. Stood there frozen. I went back to the bedroom. Lynn was on her side, breathing softly. I stood there watching, sure she was pretending. But she didn't move. I got into bed, and she was still as stone. The next morning, I asked her about it. "What was that last night?" She frowned, shaking her head like she didn't know what I was talking about. I pointed to the spot by the island. She burst out laughing. She laughed so hard I joined her. I said, "You creep me out sometimes." She giggled and said, "You creep me out all the time. I guess we're even." We left for work. As I drove, I kept thinking about her grinning from behind the island. The sounds of her hands and feet on the floor. I told myself she was just being silly. Didn't sit right. I started seeing her more and more, peeking from behind the couch or through the living room curtains. It was becoming a game I wasn't enjoying. Once, she hid inside her grandmother's old trunk at the foot of our bed. I wouldn't have known she was there, but the old hinges creaked. Half her face peeked through the cracked lid. She was grinning like an excited toddler. I didn't know what to say. I just stared. When I finally asked her why she was doing this, she slowly closed the lid, shutting herself inside. I just walked away feeling disturbed. I didn't understand why she was doing it, but it clearly made her happy. I hoped she would tire of this game quickly. For the next 2 weeks, she didn't peek at me at all. I started to think she was done. I felt relieved. Maybe it was just a phase. Maybe she was just trying to connect with my love of horror, but last night, it happened again. I was in the shower, rinsing my hair, when I opened my eyes and saw her face pressed against the glass. She was soaking wet, clothes and all, just staring. That same grin. Odd, wide, unblinking. I stumbled back, hitting the tile wall. She didn't move. She just kept staring. I yelled her name, but she didn't react. She was like a statue. I yanked the curtain open, ready to confront her, but she wasn't there. The bathroom was empty. The floor was dry. She hadn't been there. But I saw her. I know I did. I dried off and went to the bedroom. Lynn was lying in bed, asleep. Her hair was dry. Her clothes were dry. She wasn't in the bathroom, but I felt her eyes on me right now from the corner. I looked in the mirror, and I saw her. She was behind me, not in the reflection of the bed, but in the reflection of the bathroom doorway. Peeking around the corner again, I spun around. Nothing. But I heard her voice, a whisper from somewhere in the house. She said, "I just want to be close to you." It didn't sound like her. It was wrong. I realized it wasn't a prank. This wasn't my wife. Something was wearing her smile, something I liked to watch. And it had been living with us for weeks. I called her name, and she didn't answer. I checked the bedroom. She was gone. The sheets were still warm. I can't stay here. I'm packing a bag and leaving tonight. I don't know what's going to happen when I open the front door. But I know one thing for sure. Whatever is in this house, it's not my wife. And it's not going to let me leave easily.